Your thoughts will turn to things. And life is exactly the same way. You can all write your movie. You all have a producer called Law of Attraction. And you all have endless funding called the energy that creates worlds. And you all have everything that is necessary to bring the cooperative components together. In other words, you have a staff, you have a team of non-physicals and currents and laws that are helping you turn your ideas about a movie into a full-fledged movie. You create your own reality, whether it's on the screen or whether it's something that comes into your life experience. So you know how in a movie the scene will change and then you can write it again. We've been breaking it down for you in some rather rudimentary steps. Step one is you, in your physical form, ask for something. And we tell you when it is asked, it is given. Wrote a whole book about it so you'd believe it. When you ask, it is given. When you ask, it is given. When you know what you don't want, you ask for what you do want, even if you don't put words to it yet. And it is immediately given because it is a vibrational reality. That's what we're calling this vibrational sphere, where the new evolved you is. And law of attraction is bringing all cooperative components. But the tricky thing is, tricky seeming to you, it's perfectly logical to us because we understand that vibration precedes all things that are manifested. It's been that way from the beginning of time. In other words, there's got to be a thought, and the thought has to get some momentum going before the thought has enough attraction power to start manifesting into a way that it can be seen more fully through physical senses. Doesn't that seem logical? That a full manifestation is just a more evolved, longer thought about manifestation. So as you have thoughts of doubt, and you keep putting those doubt engines on the opposite end of your train, and then life keeps causing you to want something more, and so you put another engine on the other end of your train. As you move through life, you've got competing engines of bigger and bigger and bigger proportion, and then you feel tense because you're asking and not letting yourself go, and asking and not letting yourself go. And here's the thing that is most interesting to us, and the thing that we most want you to hear from us. Your inner being will never stop calling you this way. Now, if your inner being would stop calling you this way, you'd feel better since you got opposing engines going the other way. Because then at least there wouldn't be tension. You'd just go in the opposing direction of what you really mean, but it wouldn't be tense. But your inner being will never stop calling you. Your inner being will never stop keeping its promise to you. That since your leading edge physical human experience has caused you, and in fact the entire universe, to expand, your inner being will never stop calling you forward into that expansion. And so that brings us to step 3. Step 1 is you ask. Step 2 is source answers and continues to call you and answer you. Step 3 is you got to find some way to stop putting engines on the other end of that train. You got to find some way to get into the receiving mode or the allowing mode so that you allow yourself to be the receiver of what you're asking for. So it's nice, and we know you often appreciate witnessing good things coming to others. There's nothing more thrilling than to love someone and watch them thrive. But sometimes when someone else is thriving and you are not, then you make up things that are not true about why. You try to explain that they're thriving because they have better advantages. They're thriving because they were born into it, or they were thriving because they had this education or this advantage, or. And every time you do that, you're really talking about your disadvantage. And when you keep active in your vibration, your own disadvantage, when you are rationalizing or justifying or defending yourself, you're stacking up those engines of resistance, and you are limiting your own ability to move. But here's the thing. You've already asked, and it's already been given, and you're already being called. And so every time you do that, the tension is greater within you, which causes you to feel greater anger or greater depression or greater feeling that you are being left out in some way. And we want you to know you are never being left out. As you look across the board in the world in which you live, on subject after subject as it relates to you or maybe to others, you might notice that things are not even. Different people are living different experiences, and certainly it isn't even, but it is always fair, because it is always law of attraction responding to the vibrational output of whatever's going on. So rather than arguing in a limiting way that it's just not fair that you're not getting something and somebody else is, stop, if you can, looking at the manifestation and begin to evaluate just for a little while what you're doing vibrationally. Because what you will begin to notice is that those that are thriving on whatever subject of desire it is that you are witnessing are thriving because their mood or their attitude or their opinion about it is something that is working for them. You cannot work against yourself, even by noticing what is, if what is isn't what you want to be, without limiting yourself. And that slowdown doesn't feel good to you. Doesn't feel good to you because of the energy drain of contradicted energy. It doesn't feel good because of the lack of clarity that you are providing for yourself, the clarity that you are not allowing yourself to experience. And then it ultimately doesn't feel good because as it unfolds, it's just more bad news to you. And then it really doesn't feel good when something manifests that you clearly do not want. And we are just saying, you have more control of your experience than maybe you have realized, and that's why we like to visit with you. So what happened to you is you were born into an environment where in most cases you could see and hear and smell and taste and touch things around you because you were born with translators of vibration. Your eyes translate vibration so that you can see. So you are a translating of energy genius, and you say, oh, here's reality. Well, that's a wonderful thing that you can become immersed in reality. But the thing about you being immersed in reality is that it makes you sometimes only want to be immersed in the already manifested reality. So you get all motivated and activated and enamored with the what is, the what I can already see and hear and smell and taste and touch. And the problem with that is if you're only offering your vibration about what you're observing, then you can only create more of what you are already observing. If you want something different than what is, you've got to offer a vibration that's different than what is. And that takes some discipline, because what is attractive to you because you can see it. Your airways are full of conversations about what is. Even though your environment wants so much that is so different from what is, you keep beating the drum of what is, and so you keep recreating what is. It's like a regurgitation process that's happening in immense proportion right now around you. You can't get something different if you're just talking about what is. So, we know. We're talking about vibration. That's just annoying in the beginning, isn't it? And we're talking about asking you to have faith in things you can't see, things that you can feel that you can't see. But when you do, when you begin to accept that law of attraction is real and that your guidance system is real also, when you accept that and you start really taking note of how you feel and you make some attempt at thinking more and more thoughts that feel better and better to you, so you are offering less and less resistance, then you begin to get movement. And when you begin to get movement so that those thoughts that you have set into motion are allowed by you to turn into things, to turn into ideas, into rendezvous, into experiences, and into manifestations, when you witness your thoughts, your deliberate thoughts turning to things, then you get it. Then you accept not only the laws of the universe as they are, in their pure and equal opportunity state, but you also begin to trust in your own ability to create your own reality. And that's when something wonderful starts happening to you. You begin to feel your blessed worthiness. You begin to expect good things to come to you. Step one is life causes you to ask for something new. And step two is, in this vibrational reality where you have shot your rocket, your inner being has become immediately a full vibrational responder and now emitter of a signal of that new request, whether it's a relationship that's improved, or whether it's a relationship that is new altogether, or whether it's an enterprise or a material object or a pile of money. It doesn't matter what it is that you are asking for. Clarity rather than confusion, happiness rather than unhappiness, it doesn't matter. Once you've launched the rocket, your inner being is there. And we want you to know that there where your inner being is really current time. It's current tense. And what's manifested in your experience is old news, because it took some time for everything that you are living to turn from thoughts to things. So by the time you're looking at it, it's old news. It's like watching a replay of a ball game. Esther likes the San Antonio Spurs, but she wants to see them live. She wants to see them in real time. She doesn't want to watch them after the fact, even if she doesn't know who has won the game. It's not the same to her. She wants to see it while it's happening. And so your inner being is the real time. And you, while you can't see it real time. And that's what bothers you. That's why you look at the old news, because you can at least see it. You can sense it. You can sense it. You can feel it. You have emotions that let you feel it. You can feel secure even if you don't have enough money right now in your bank. So we began explaining to you that step one is contrast causes you to ask. Step two is that source energy and law of attraction, your inner being, all gather everything that you're asking for. And there's a gestation process as everything that you have been asking for is merging together. The cooperative components are gathering, and there is a beautiful life that is being lived by your inner being vibrationally, and your inner being is calling you to it, calling you through your path of least resistance. Now, your path of least resistance is just your path that you've put resistance on your own trail. And it's all right that you've scattered resistance all over your trail. Can't do that, don't want to do that, don't like that, wish I didn't have to do that. You've spattered that stuff all over your trail. Your inner being doesn't hold that against you. In fact, your inner being doesn't even notice that it's there. Your inner being just keeps calling you around and over and under and through the resistance that's there. And depending on how much resistance is there, that determines how fun it is as you get called along your path. If you have no resistance, magic is happening everywhere around you. It's like you barely speak that you want something and the universe says, here it is, and you say, thank you very much, now I'd like that. That really is the way it can be for you. But if you've been down on yourself or down on somebody else, or not believing in your ability to create, or believing that you're not worthy of creation, or focused upon the lack of things, if you've been, like most people are, focusing upon the manifestations of the world rather than upon the vibrational reality that is in the process of becoming, then you probably have plenty of resistance that your inner being is calling you through, which means you are probably having sort of a bumpy ride along your way to everything you want. Some of you won't get there till you croak, because you have thoughts that you keep thinking. That's what beliefs are. A belief is just a thought that you continue to think. We know that if you are like many people, you are stuck in the awareness of what is. And it makes everything we're saying here not only feel irrelevant to you, it makes you feel irritated by it. That's sort of the way the movie makers keep you engaged, is they give you a problem to which they help you find a solution, and then you feel better. But it is sort of the way that the resistance helps you to continue to create and ask for more too. And so as long as you know that no matter what's happening, you can keep yourselves happily engaged and moving along, and knowing that you do ultimately have complete creative control over what happens, not only with your movie, but with life. You always have that guiding light to feel your way into alignment with. Your vortex can always be felt by you, unless you're too far gone in the opposite direction for now. But after a good night's sleep, you're back in the game again. We've enjoyed this interaction immensely.
Thank you so much.
It is delicious to come together with those like you, who are out here on the leading edge, who are savoring the simplicity of your core grid. As you play with this just a little bit over the next few days, you're going to have the exhilarating experience of watching your grid fill in as confirmation of the knowledge that you have reconfirmed here. We haven't told you anything today that you didn't know the day you were born, but we have reminded you of some things that you have forgotten. So be playful about it. And most of all, don't worry.